The innovation project that I want to incorporate into my classroom is flexible seating. Flexible seating is a new type of seating that has taken over a lot of different classrooms. And it is very innovative because you take something as simple as, where your students are sitting, but you're giving it your own twist of what they're sitting on and where they get to sit and how they get to choose where they want to sit. This, I think, incorporates into our innovative mindset book because it deals a lot with empathy and changing education, building relationships, and responsibility. I think it creates empathy because I know as somebody, whenever I have to go to a meeting and I have to sit there for, an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours, and I have to sit in a hard chair, I'm not very happy and I don't like going. I don't enjoy going to it because no one likes to just sit and listen to somebody talk for a long period of time in a chair. I can definitely relate to my kids on that because no one likes to do that. So if I can give my kids the choice of where to sit and how they want to sit and what's best for their learning environment, then I'm having that empathy for them. I think it also changes education a lot because, you know, times are changing. Students are way different than, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 50 years ago. We don't learn the same anymore. With technology and things that are changing, students don't learn the same. So it's very important that we evaluate how we're teaching our kids and learning how they're learning to help them. Building relationships because, you're helping them and you're building that relationship with them, but you're also letting them build relationships with their peers. And then responsibility because if you're giving them the choice and the options of where to sit and how they want to sit and how they want to learn best, you have to they have to become responsible, learners and figure out what is the best spot for them and how can they use that spot appropriately. We're going to watch a little clip that I thought was very good about flexible seating.
As your kids head back to school, you might notice something a little different in this year's classroom. 7 News reporter Laura Thomas shows you the new way some students are sitting.
How do you let me go, Jane?
In Paula Quinby's classroom at Reedville Elementary School, you will find the traditional desk and chairs, but you'll also see students sitting on, well, anything.
Having all these options is really neat.
Pillows on the floor, seats made of tires, desks for standing, even special stools that swivel and rock.
We know they learn different ways. They also need to be seated different ways to learn their best.
A few years ago, Quinby noticed the need to allow kids to fidget, be comfortable, and feel at home. The freedom to move made a difference. Parents picked up on it too.
They've seen their grades come up. They've seen their focus improve. They come home talking about enjoying school.
When these fourth graders first walked into the classroom, some weren't so sure what to think.
What is all this stuff doing in here? Like, are we going to sit on them? Why is there not chairs?
But they all quickly warmed up to the idea.
I am comfortable, and when I'm comfortable, I learn best. And that's what usually suits me. Sometimes I like standing up when I work, or sometimes I like sitting down in a comfortable little place to read.
All learning in their own way, now seated for success. In Spartanburg, Laura Thomas, 7 News.
Now that we know a little bit more about flexible seating, here are just some things that studies have shown how flexible seating can change your classroom. Studies have shown that it has improved student learning. It gives students choice, and we all know that little kids love to have a choice in things. It lets them be comfortable. Like that little boy said, he gets to choose if he wants to stand up and do one work, but he might want to go be somewhere comfortable and sit down while he's reading. Letting them be comfortable. If you're comfortable, you're going to learn better. They're giving them a spot to the best that they can best learn in, which is a huge thing. They're letting them be constantly moving. Like some of the flexible seating options are like, the fidget chairs and the wobble chairs and the little discs that they can be moving on. And if you let them move, if they have those fidgeting problems, they're going to be more engaged. You're also giving students more responsibility. and you're letting them be happier. They love to have different things that make them different, and the flexible seating also lets them be more engaged. I'm going to talk a little bit about the past, present, and future of my seating that I've done in my classroom. In the past, like last year, was my first year teaching, so I really wasn't willing to take on much else. So I just had, desks and chairs. Everywhere in my classroom, it was desks and chairs. If we did small group, it was tables and chairs. And, my students didn't have a lot of options or choices of what they wanted to sit on. And I noticed that, they couldn't keep their attention span for very long because they didn't like sitting in those chairs. I had a lot of them, rock on their chairs. They stood up. They were constantly, kneeling next to their chairs. And I could tell, they weren't as engaged. So this year, toward the middle of the year, I started incorporating different things into my classroom. Like, for example, at our little tables that we have for small group activities, I put crate benches. That way, while we were doing small group activities, they could sit on the crate benches, or they had option of when we do the free reading that they could take a crate bench around the room and sit on it, and they absolutely loved that. Later on, I have a lot of kids with anxiety problems in my classroom, and so, they constantly are fidgeting. So I bought them bouncy bands. We bought bouncy bands so that they could, bounce their feet on it up and down, and, it keeps them moving instead of fidgeting, and it lets them be more engaged. I also started incorporating in some disc seats. They have, little stimulant things on one side of them, so while they can rock back and forth on them, not only does it let them wobble and move, it has some stimulating things for those kids with anxiety. Here are pictures of the crate benches. I kind of have the same things that I've made. I also started incorporating some stability balls into our classroom so that the kids can, again, have another option to sit on. They love the stability balls because, they can bounce on them, they can roll on them, side to side, doing those small movements, and it's keeping them engaged. They also love it because during our free reading time, they can use that during those times too. These are some of the things that I have incorporated into our classroom right now. I don't let them choose right now. Right now, I let them all have a chance. So we go a week. So they get that seating option for a week. And then after the week, I will switch them around so that everyone has an opportunity to use them. But not everyone in the classroom has a flexible seating option right now. In the future, like next year, I would love to incorporate flexible seating into my classroom altogether. Letting them from the day they walk in, telling them they can sit wherever, however they want, as long as they are safe and as long as they are learning and engaged. So some things that I want to incorporate into my classroom next year are all those things that I have right now, but I also I have a couch in my room right now, but I don't let them sit on it for learning, just for like free reading and small group partner activities. But I want to incorporate my couch and let them sit on that. I want to incorporate a butterfly chairs or bean bags or different things that they can sit in. I want to incorporate wobble chairs into our classroom. I want to, bring in some tables and lower them so that they can, sit on the floor and have pillows or yoga mats, or if they want to sit on a pillow just on the floor or use a scoop chair and they want to, sit on the floor and maybe use a lap desk or just a clipboard. I really want to let them have a choice, whatever they want to sit in, wherever they're comfortable, giving them that choice. And I hope that by letting them, have that choice and let them be comfortable doing whatever they're doing, it will help them stay engaged and learn in the best of their ability.